A very good evening and welcome to Eswatini TV's 8 p.m. news broadcast with Nondobego Nzapkelogo. Let's take a look at tonight's headlines. The Kingdom of Eswatini has signed an over 180 million agreement with the European Union. The Minister for Natural Resources has met a delegation from Taiwan which will be constructing a thermal power station in the kingdom. The country has recorded 0 rabies death in the past 8 years. Here are the news in detail. The Minister of Economic Planning and Development and his counterpart in the Ministry of Agriculture, Jabulani Mabuza, as well as the European Union Ambassador to Eswatini, Esmeralda Hernandez, have signed an Eswatini Livestock Value Chain Development Program agreement worth over 181 million emalangeni. This program will help improve productivity and value addition aspects of the kingdom's livestock sector.
While 80% of the people of Eswatini rear livestock, most farmers still keep goats, cattle and other forms of livestock at subsistence level, a situation that currently renders local livestock farmers incapable of meeting the existing demand for meat and other livestock byproducts. The Minister of Economic Planning and Development, Dr. Tambo Gina, says some of the hurdles faced by local livestock farmers in increasing productivity and value addition will be solved through the Eswatini Livestock Value Chain Development Program agreements worth over 181 million emalangeni signed by the Kingdom and the European Union.
Over the last 15 years, the EU has invested over 170 million euros in the Kingdom of Eswatini in support of various agriculture value chain projects. The magnitude of this investment underpins the EU's commitment to support government's efforts to develop and grow the agricultural sector as a priority sector.
The program is financed through the 11 EDF allocation to Eswatini.
European Union Ambassador to Eswatini Esmeralda Hernandez says the European Union will continue supporting the development of Eswatini's agricultural industry and that the 181 million emalangeni agreement will not only develop local farmers as it will further open doors for Eswatini's livestock markets. The Minister of Agriculture, Jabulani Mabuza, envisages that these agreements will have ripple effects on Eswatini's economy.
The Kingdom of Eswatini exports beef to the EU markets, and the benefits in the form of foreign exchange earnings trickle down to the smallholder livestock farmer in the rural areas.
The Eswatini Livestock Value Chain Development Program will also help develop women and youth who have a history of being disadvantaged on livestock farming as this industry is male-dominated. For Eswatini TV News, Hlengwen with Fabrice Mosonera in Babane.
The Kingdom of Eswatini has played a remarkable role in the fight against rabies as since 2012 it has recorded 0 deaths of rabies cases. This was said by the Minister of Agriculture, Jabulani Mabuza, during the commemoration of World Rabies Day held in Babane.
World Rabies Day is commemorated annually on the 28th of September. This year's theme is Ending Rabies by 2030. Minister of Agriculture Jabulani Mabuza says rabies is a killer disease of all mammals, including humans. Once a person begins to show signs of being clinically sick from rabies, there is no cure but one end result, which is unfortunately death. As a result, this situation can be avoided as rabies is 100% preventable through vaccination.
Our vision as a government is a rabies-free Eswatini with the goal to eliminate human deaths caused by dog rabies by the year 2030. To achieve this goal, a strategy plan, the stepwise approach towards elimination of human rabies in Eswatini was drafted in September 2019, which will guide our efforts towards 2030.
The minister further says government's policy on rabies stipulates the obligatory annual vaccination of all dogs and cats. The government covers all vaccination costs. Mabuza says during this period, which can last up to 6 months, the shooting of all stray dogs after the first week of the order may be considered in consultation with the police. Mabuza further warned dog owners that those who will not comply are liable to a fine of up to 300 emalangeni. Reporting, I'm Zodwa Andlameni with Mbonga Dube in Babane.
The Minister of Education and Training, Lady Howard Mabuza, has announced the Board of Directors for the Eswatini Higher Education Council and Sebenda. Minister Mabuza says the Board of Directors will play a massive role in improving the quality of education in the kingdom.
What was noted when the Minister of Education and Training, Lady Mabuza, announced the Board of Directors for Eswatini Higher Education Council and Sebenta is that the chairpersons for the boards are females. The board chairperson for ESHEC is Makhosazana Madondo, while Mavis Dlamini is Sebenta board chairperson. Minister Mabuza explains the importance of the two board of directors.
We were launching the new boards, the Sebenta board and ESHEC. We were launching the new boards, the Sebenda board and ESHEC. These two boards are very, very important. For instance, for Sebenda, they are helping to close the gaps that are created by school dropouts. They are also providing literacy to the communities out there. They also provide education, skills development. So it is a very, very important board. We are happy that finally we have them in place, and we do hope that they are going to perform according to our expectations, together with the ESHEC board, to ensure good quality and standards in tertiary institutions. We have this board to make sure that standards are in place.
ESHEC Board of Directors Secretary is Mboni Dlamini, while Dr. Tibegile Manana is Sebenta Secretary. Another Board of Directors, which was expected to be announced by the Minister, is that of the Southern African Nazarene University. However, the Minister postponed the announcement to a later date. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, Babane.
The Minister of Natural Resources and Energy, Peter Bembe, has met the Taiwanese delegation, which is expected to establish the Lubugu thermal power station. The meeting took place at the Mountain Inn Hotel in Mbabane.
The Minister of Natural Resources and Energy, Peter Bembe, says the main aim of the Taiwanese delegation visiting the country is to explore how the Lubugu thermal power station will be established. Minister Bembe says the Taiwanese delegation will also meet with other stakeholders in the production of electricity.
Today we are having the delegation from China, Taiwan. The delegation has come for a fact-finding in terms of establishing where the coal is going to be mined and how it will be transported to the site where the generation will be. They'll be looking at the water supply. They'll be looking at transmission lines. They'll be looking at places where to find materials, and they'll also be talking to local contractors that they may use in the construction of the power station.
Taiwanese ambassador in the country, Jeremy Liang, was represented by David Lin during the meeting. Lin emphasized on the importance of the Lubugu thermal power station project.
We would like to emphasize that the President Tsai and also His Majesty also high value this project as well. That's why under assistance of Ministry of Natural Resources, the embassy also would like to facilitate the arrival of the delegation.
William Kuyo is leading the Taiwanese delegation. Kuyo discussed some of the projects that they have embarked on in other countries and those yet to be established, like the one at Lubugu area in the country. Minister Bembe explained that The meeting between the two countries does not mean that a memorandum of agreement will be signed. Bembe says an agreement will be signed if the Taiwanese delegation will be pleased with the proposed project. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, Mountain Inn.
Senate President Lindiwe Dlamini is free to appear before the Public Accounts Committee to clarify issues that were raised by Clerk to Parliament Mvuna Dlamini before the committee. These sentiments were shared by members of the committee after Clerk to Parliament had briefed them about his meeting with the Prime Minister.
Clerk to Parliament Mvuna Dlamini, during his previous appearance before the Public Account Committee, made alarming allegations against Senate President Lindiwe Dlamini that, among other things, she is allegedly frustrating his work. When the Clerk to Parliament appeared before the committee for the second time on Monday to give the committee an update on what he has done to resolve some of the challenges he raised, the committee invited Senate President to appear before the committee if she wants to respond to the allegations about her that were raised by Clerk to Parliament.
Siyafisa nokusenatha ukuthi nawe ukhona labona ngathi akuhambi kahle leli thuba naye angathi acela ukuthi la ecommittee asubmit lapha asubmit khona ngokusubmit kwabola endlini kukhomba nalokuhloniphana.
Le committee lemcele uthi avele endlini avele phambi kwalo atophendula tositshela thine ngoba kuyabonakala ukuthi vele unato letimpendulo.
Ukhombisile kuba nentshisekelo yokuphendula indzaba tepheyisiwe nkosi siyabonga. Nale information kwabonakala lokuthi unayo letimpendulo lesiyayisifuna. Kodwa ke lokuhle ngilokuthi konke akwende phambi kwalo committee lelihloniphekile. Njengoba bashito nje bahlonishwa letimpendulo lanato dingaba mnanzi kahle ete lapha atosinika tona. Kuyinqubo nendlela le-committee lelisebenza ngayo Clerk to Parliament lokho ukuthi nakunemuntu lova ungathi kunendzaba lemshisako lekhulumeke kule committee uyaye indicate i-interest yokuthi atoyiphendula. Siyakujabulela lokho ngoba thina siyayisithanda vele kuthola tonke tinhlangothi etinkulumeni letiba khona phambi kwele-committee.
PAC Chairperson Phila Buthelezi says the committee cannot respond to what Senate President said because she addressed the allegations about her on her capacity as the president. Buthelezi says the president's position is senior to the committee. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, while some visuals are sourced from Parliament.
A study conducted by the Media Institute of Southern Africa, MISA, revealed that the Municipal Council of Manzini has excelled in providing proper access to information compared to other government parastatals. This was revealed by Media Institute of Southern Africa Director Vuyisile Hlatshwago when presenting a report on the findings of the study. The presentation was made at the Ministry of ICT offices in Mbabane.
The study on the universal access to information conducted by the Media Institute of Southern Africa, MISA, began on the 6th of July and was finished on the 30th of August 2020. Media Institute of Southern Africa Director Vuyisile Hlatshwayo unpacks the essence of the study.
Qala sibuka ema websites alama public institutions lenkhuluma ngawo kwekuthi le information up to date kangakanani. Then lokunye lesikwendako bese ke sikhokha ema questionnaire. Le questionnaire ke sikhokhela kwekuthi siyesambe siyobaniketa ngalanga linye because lokwendekako sifuna kwekuthi asibaniketa le questionnaire bese siyaqala siya assessa kwekuthi bathethe isikhathi lesingakanani kusiniketa le information.
Hlatshwayo also revealed that only 5 government parastatals and 5 government ministries were assessed during this study, but only the Manzini City Council excels in providing universal information, while Eswatini Tourism Authority did not. The Director of Information in the Ministry of Communications and Technology, Peshiya Dube, says the Ministry of ICT encourages the activities of universal information countrywide.
Sinela ICT, in particularly lihhovisi langakami, vele sisebenta ngabo lama studies ngoba phela la sikhona sibuka kwakhe imithetho ikakhulu imithetho lehambelana nale industry yethu lokho ukuthi sifuna kwakha le industry through policy formulation and legislation. So kumcoka kakhulu ukuthi any piece of information or any piece of research lendiwe siyibone nathi siyifunze, and from that research then siyafunza nathi ukuthi nasakhala policies yini nani letaw influenceka.
Dube further says that the commemoration of the universal information helps various government stakeholders to be always abreast with information so that members of the public and the media can easily access it anytime. Reporting, I'm Zoto Adlamini with Mbonga Dube in Babane.
The national average water storage capacity in the country's 5 major dams has decreased by 8.1% when compared to the same period last year. This is contained in a report that was issued by the Director of Water Affairs, Trevor Shongwe.
The national average water storage capacity in the country's 5 major dams currently stands at 65.9% compared to 74% observed during the month of September last year. This is an average decline of 8.1% from last year at the same time. It is, however, noted that the amount of water currently stored in the country's dams is sufficient to see the country through the dry season until the beginning of the next rainy season. The Lubovane Dam has the highest storage level, which currently stands at 92.7%. Hawana Dam has the second highest level of 71%. Makuka Dam has the third highest level and currently stands at 58.9%, followed by the Lupotlo Dam with 57.4%. And last is the Mjoli Dam with 49.6%. All the dams are currently showing a declining trend on the volumes of water they have stored, as observed from the figures collected since the start of the month of September. This is, however, expected as September is the driest hydrological month of the water year. The water levels in the country's dams and rivers is expected to improve as we get into the rainy season, which has been predicted to have normal to above normal rainfall. The nation is urged to continue to use water sparingly to ensure its availability for a longer period of time. For Eswatini TV News, I'm LinkedIn Kule in Babane.
Junior Achievement Eswatini, in collaboration with World Vision, has hosted pupils from different schools in the country in a financial literacy empowerment session aimed at helping young people to overcome forms of abuse that may be caused by a lack of financial stability. The workshop was held at the Happy Valley Hotel in Zulwini.
Junior Achievement Eswatini Executive Director Phethile Masilela says evidence shows that there is a strong correlation between the increasing numbers of sexual violence against young people with the lack of financial literacy and independence among Eswatini's youth. Masilela says it is against the backdrop of ever-increasing incidents and reports of sexual violence against young people and especially girls in the period of the outbreak of coronavirus that Junior Achievement partnered with World Vision to equip pupils with financial literacy skills.
We would like young people to understand there's a very strong linkage between being financially literate. How do you invest it? How do you save it? How do you withdraw it in the future? And
World Vision's advocacy and external lead Zakhile Dlamini says young people need to be properly equipped with how to be financially independent to avoid falling prey to the perpetrators of violence.
We are saying to young people, let them learn about other skills that they can employ to make sure that they are financially stable in the home and that they are able to meet their financial needs without engaging in risky sexual behavior.
Young people who attended this session acknowledged that they are faced with many challenges.
People who have money take advantage of children who are vulnerable and do not have anything and they force them to sleep with them.
As a poor person, the chances of you getting money are very slim. So you should make use of the little money that you have, and so that you can survive. Save your money, use it wisely, be careful of the things that you buy, because even though you are poor and you are hungry, but then you should remember that you have to feed yourself, and don't let your hunger drive you.
Representatives from different financial institutions, including the Central Bank of Eswatini, Eswatini Bank, and the Eswatini Stock Exchange, also taught young people on the different ways of saving and investing money. For Eswatini TV News, Shengiwe Ndlovu with Fabrice Musonera at Eswatini.
In today's sports news, Junior and Development Officer under the Eswatini Tennis Association, Bongani Nene, says the Building Society Junior Tennis Tournament serves as a platform where talent within young local tennis players is identified and monitored. Gunene revealed this when speaking to Eswatini TV sports journalists during the Building Society Junior Tennis Tournament that played this past weekend at the Tennis Center in Lobamba.
The Eswatini Tennis Association continue with a different program that ensure the development of the sport in the country through their junior tournaments. According to Junior Development Officer, who also serves as a junior coach, Bongani Kunene, a tournament like Building Society Junior Tournament plays a big role in identifying talent within young tennis players.
So ngiyakubona lokuningi bayaku-apply labantwana la e-tennis court. And then look,
Kunene says some of the well-known junior players have grown to become some of the best and upcoming players for the country, which proves the importance of the tournament.
So loko kuyinkhomba yokuthi siya embili khona siya khona.
Kunene went on to highlight that having given enough attention to juniors within the Babane-Manzini corridor, their next destination is to look at other parts of the country. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabrice Musonera, Babane.
Newly appointed president of the table tennis in the country, Percy Zulu, says the newly elected executive committee will ensure that all those working for the sport will work towards the same goal, which is the success of the sport both locally and internationally. Zulu highlighted this during the association's meeting at Olympia Africa in Lobamba.
The Eswatini Table Tennis Association held a meeting to revive the association and the sport at large that seemed to have long been forgotten. During the meeting, a new standing executive committee was elected, headed by President Percy Zulu, who says that the new committee will ensure that those involved in the sport should be fully committed to the sport.
People wouldn't show up. So
Zulu says in the past the association had challenges of having people who were mostly interested in serving the association with expectations of funds, but for now they are looking to ensure that everybody is fully committed just for the love of the sport.
Nothing expected.
Zulu went on to mention that before the end of the year, the association will begin to host different tournaments. Within the new executive, Mavandla Bembe will serve as the vice president, Mduduzi Dlamini will serve as the secretary general of the association, and Gcina Dlamini, who will serve as the public relations officer for the association. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabrice Musonera, Lobamba.
Eswatini, we've come to the end of our news bulletin. But before we wrap up, let's take a quick recap of the headlines. The Kingdom of Eswatini has signed an over 180 million agreement with the European Union. The Minister for Natural Resources has met a delegation from Taiwan which will be constructing a thermal power station in the kingdom. The country has recorded 0 rabies death in the past 8 years. And in our COVID news today, 21 people tested positive for coronavirus today. That is all the news we had for you tonight. Up next is the weather forecast. Good night and God bless.